Hey guys, it's Mike and Matty, and we're excited to finally be sharing a project that we've been working on for a long time. It's a day in the life with Mike back when he was a resident doctor.
Yeah, and at that time, I was in my third and final year of internal medicine residency, and I was able to record the highlights of my shift being on call for 24 hours. We had a lot of fun with this one, so I hope you enjoy it. Today I'm on call for 24 hours. I'm getting in just a little before work right now. We're gonna start at 8 o'clock a.m. That's when I'm gonna pick up my pager. And then I'm gonna carry that pager all the way until the next morning and pass off the pager at 8 a.m. to the next resident. And after I hand off my pager, I'm gonna be rounding with my team. We're gonna discuss all the patients I'd admitted in the last 24 hours, come up with a good plan for everybody, and then after that, I can go home. So while I'm carrying the pager, there are three main things that I'm responsible for. The first thing is admissions. So if a patient comes to the emergency room or gets transferred from another hospital, I am responsible for seeing that patient, and if I think that that patient is sick enough, then I'll admit that patient to the hospital where they'll stay overnight with us and we can treat them. The second thing we do is that I take internal medicine consults. And what that means is that if there's any other doctor in the hospital that needs help from an internal medicine doctor, they'll give us a call, they'll tell us about their patient, and I'll go see that patient and help them out from our internal medicine perspective. And then the third thing we're responsible for is responding to codes. So if a code is called for a patient, that means the patient's in trouble and they need emergency attention. So I would go to the patient's room and nurses will come and respiratory therapists will come and pharmacists will come, and we will all work together as a team to try to stabilize the patient and get them feeling better. Code blues can get really intense. The patient will be unconscious, their heart would have stopped beating, or they would have stopped breathing. So in that case, we would need to do CPR to hopefully bring the patient back, or we may need to hook the patient up to a ventilator or life support. I hope that doesn't happen today while I'm on call. That would probably be pretty cool for you guys to see. But that's the thing about being on call and being a hospitalist here, is that you never know what's going to happen during your day, so it always keeps you on your toes. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that on weekdays, we have morning report and we also have noon lectures. Morning report starts at 8 a.m. where all the residents will convene in the lecture hall, and one resident will present a case of a patient that they took care of so that all the other residents can learn from that. So morning report's really cool because if one resident saw a really interesting and rare case, then that basically means that all the other residents will get to learn from that case even though they didn't get to see it. It's almost 8 o'clock now, so I'm going to text the resident who was on call last night. We're going to meet up somewhere in the hospital, and then we're going to pick up the pager, and then that's when my call cycle will start. All right, so we're going to go pick up the pager from Frank. He was the resident on call overnight. I hope he's awake. I just texted him and he responded, so. Yo, what up, man?
Hey, good morning. What's up? Overnight team.
Yeah, how was
How
it?
you doing? It was okay. 2 codes.
You get some sleep?
Yeah, maybe like 2 hours.
2 hours doesn't sound like a lot, but that's actually not
That's
bad.
actually good for overnight. Oh, here's the pager.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Oh, you got the meal card?
Oh yeah, here. Yeah, don't forget that.
Sweet. All right, dude. Thanks.
See you.
So residents have a meal plan with the hospital. When you go to the cafeteria, you can use your doctor's badge to tap and pay for the food. But when you're on call, you have to stay in the hospital, so you get a second meal card, which means you get double the money. We get a fixed amount of money every day and it doesn't roll over. So when I hear my fellow residents saying that they're cashing out, that basically tells you that they're done for the day.
This is a good example of cashing out. I heard that there were a lot of hot Cheetos in the cafeteria, but I've never actually seen them there. And now we know that these pesky interns have just been swooping them up.
So after I pick up my pager, I'm gonna meet up with my intern. The intern is basically the first year resident, and I'm a senior resident. I've been here for over 2 years now. Okay, so this is my team for today. On the left, we have Eva, the intern, and on the right, we have Ivy, our med student. We're going to pre-round together on the computer We're going to go over all the patients we have to see for the day, kind of form a plan together. And then later on in the morning, our attending will come in, and then we'll go over all the patients again with the attending. And at that time, we'll formulate the final plan for the day.
Was he coughing?
Yeah, he was coughing.
Did he cough on you?
All right, so we just finished rounding with our attending. One of our patients is pretty sick. He's having a hard time breathing and his blood pressure is dropping. So we're gonna go ahead and transfer him to the ICU or the critical care unit where he's gonna get more attention. Otherwise, our patients are doing well. We're gonna take the time now to put in orders, discharge patients, meaning send patients home who are ready to go home. And usually on a normal day when I'm not on call, after I finish all my work, I can go home. But today, since I am on call, I gotta stay in the hospital, carry the pager, and respond to everything that comes through. I know that sometimes the flow of care in the hospital can be pretty confusing. And actually today, one of our patients asked, what kind of doctor is a hospitalist? So I think that's important, and as a resident on call, I'm basically a hospitalist today. So I want to take a few minutes just to explain. A hospitalist is a physician who cares for patients only while they're in the hospital. It's an internal medicine subspecialty. So I like to compare hospitalists to primary care doctors because both jobs are very similar, and most people already understand how a primary care doctor works. Primary care doctors are generalists. They know a little bit about everything, which is perfect because they're your main doctor and they're your main point of contact with the entire healthcare system. Now, if you have a complicated disease that requires the help of a specialist, like a cardiologist or a pulmonologist or a surgeon, for example, then your primary care doctor can give you a referral to go see that specialist. Your primary care doctor usually tries to stay in the loop and is aware of all the treatment that you're getting with these other specialists and will help you coordinate everything. So now a hospitalist basically does the exact same thing, but only inside the hospital. So if you get admitted to the hospitalist is your primary doctor, and they're also generalists. They know a little bit about everything, and it's their job to figure out what's wrong with the patient, diagnose the problems, and if they need help, they'll consult or call in other specialist doctors to help take care of you. And like your primary care doctor, the hospitalist will coordinate all the care that you get in the hospital, and when you're feeling better, the hospitalist will also coordinate your discharge, whether you go home or to a nursing home or to another medical center. So I wanted to switch gears real quick and talk about internal medicine residency because our roles change every single month. So this month I'm a hospitalist, but last month I was doing infectious diseases, and then next month I'll be on my rheumatology rotation. So on any given month we have different residents on every rotation, and we have basically one resident in every part of the hospital, and we all rotate through on every specialty service. So for example, right now we have David in the clinic, we have Lena in the ER, and we have a bunch of residents all on subspecialty services like cardiology, pulmonology, gastroenterology, and so on and so on.
I am the resident doing my clinic month this month. One of the things that I like the most about our clinic is that we get chances to have continuity of care with our patients and really build a relationship over 3 years. A good number of my patients I've taken care of in the hospital, but then also had the chance to follow with them in the outpatient setting.
So I'm on my emergency medicine rotation right now in the ED, and this is where patients come in for whatever acute complaints they have, and typically we'll decide, and figure out what's going on with the patient, whether or not they need to be admitted. So reasons for patients to get admitted are, if they need IV fluids or antibiotics, if they require surgeries, or if they just require any further workup for whatever acute medical problems they have.
So I'm on the neurology rotation right now. So on this rotation, we generally see kind of a wide range of patients, and anything from people who have a new stroke to seizure management to people who just have a small neurologic deficit.
So currently I'm on my gastroenterology rotation. I get to see patients that are coming in for any sort of abdominal discomfort, anything that ranges from the esophagus, stomach, colon, that can be causing issues. The rotation itself is very procedure heavy, so we have the opportunity to see endoscopies, colonoscopies.
I'm on my nephrology rotation this month, which is have a patient who has any sort of kidney problem. We help them out with dialysis sometimes if their kidneys don't work anymore. And we see other cool things like patients who've had kidney transplants and they need long-term medications to help the transplant stay healthy.
All right, so it looks like some of the residents are gonna meet in the cafeteria, so let's go get lunch. So after lunch, we try to work on some of our notes, and then we try to get our patients tucked in for the day so that if anything else happens, then we at least know that they're taken care of.
So the worst thing that could happen today is a code blue and one just got called, and I am currently in the bathroom.
Everybody clear? Shocking. 1, 2, 3, shock. Start CPR.
So the hospital's a big place. Sometimes we're tired or we're just lazy and we don't want to walk from one end all the way over to the other. So that's why we use the tube system. So if the patient needs some paperwork, like a prescription or a work note or something like that, then we can just tube right on over to them. Okay, so it's usually slower during this time of day. I've finished all my work and now I'm just waiting for admissions and for consults. Since Eva and I are on call, the other medicine teams can go home after they finish their work. All they have to do is tell Eva about all their patients so that if she gets any calls about them, she'll know what to do. And then at 8 p.m. the night intern comes on, and then Eva will hand off all the patients and her pager to the night intern. So during the daytime before 8 p.m., I'll be seeing all admissions and consults with the day intern. But at nighttime after 8 p.m., I'll be seeing all of them with the night intern. So when we're on call, we have these designated call rooms that we can stay in and sleep overnight. And let me tell you, the worst feeling ever is when you finish all your work, you tucked all your patients in and it's late at night, and you finally found time to settle into the nice comfy bed, and then a code is called. And you gotta jump right back up and run and respond to the code. So normally right now, since I have some downtime, I could either study, do some board questions, or I can go to sleep and try to save up energy for when it gets busier later on.
So I've been lying in bed for about 20 minutes now, and I can't seem to get to sleep, probably because you guys are watching me. So I thought, you know what, why don't I just give you guys a tour and we can see what the other residents are up to.
So our resident lounge is a place where we come as residents to hang out, have fun, play games, watch TV, and relax. This is probably one of the areas primarily where we as residents do our work.
So we share this lounge with the surgeons, and some of us like to pre-round here or in the library.
We have lots of people who like to play pool and play ping pong and have pretty epic battles. We also have a dartboard that has been a little bit beat up over the last year. We have a foosball table that we have lots of heated battles over. We also have a massage chair where you can sit down, put your feet up, relax, kind of de-stress. I remember last year watching the NBA Finals between the Toronto Raptors and the Golden State Warriors. We have a refrigerator, so a kitchen space with a sink. We've all had those moments where we're on call and a code goes off and we're in the middle of our food and we have to put it on hold and go save lives.
We have this awesome pet therapy program where we can have professional doggies go and visit the patients.
It's a fun space that we have. This is the area that we can come together and spend time with one another.
All right, let's head on over to the intensive care unit and see what's going on, and maybe we'll get to see some cool procedures.
In the ICU, we take care of the sickest patients in the hospital. We always have a lot of fun. We see a lot of sick patients and we do a lot of good procedures. It's busy, but you can ask the residents around. It's usually one of the most fulfilling experiences they have being in the critical care unit.
So our attending has this really cool new fancy stethoscope that lets us hear murmurs louder and more clearly, and can actually even split the sound so multiple people can hear and learn at the same time.
Let's go.
Okay, ready? Go from mama. Crackling.
There's also another teaching session in the skills lab. Some of the residents are practicing codes and intubations, so let's go check that out.
Codes in the hospital are any kind of medical emergency that requires immediate attention. As residents on call, we are the team leaders during the code rapid response or code blue, and it is our responsibility to stabilize the patient.
Codes can be a pretty high stress situation. If a patient goes into cardiac arrest, we have to initiate CPR and sometimes use electrical shock to try to bring them back to life. If a patient stops breathing, we have to intubate them and hook them to a ventilator, which is a machine for life support. When you're using the Mac versus the Miller, like where you have to aim the blade with the laryngoscope. So the motion is more so like get it in and then go up that direction.
Okay.
Okay, so that was a nice break, but unfortunately it was cut a little short because we just got our first admission. Okay, so I got a page from the emergency room. We're gonna give them a call back and see if there's a patient that we need to see and possibly admit to the hospital. This is MedRes.
Yeah, let's see, I've got a 73-year-old lady with right flank pain, and I think she's got a pyelo, but she's got quite a bit of pain and vomiting. I think she may need to come in.
Okay, I'll come down and take a look.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so it sounds like she has pyelonephritis, and it also sounds like she could be pretty sick. So we'll have to go down to the ER and see her. But basically, pyelonephritis is an infection of your kidneys, and it usually starts with a UTI, which is an infection of your urine and your bladder. And if it gets worse and it climbs and it reaches your kidneys, then we call it pyelonephritis. And the treatment is antibiotics, and if she's sick enough, then we'll have to admit her to the hospital. Alright, so we got the second code blue today in the ICU. We'll see what's up. Let's go check it out. So that code blue that was just called is the exact same patient who had the code blue earlier. She was in the cath lab getting a procedure, and now she's in the ICU, and another code blue was called. She went into cardiac arrest again, but it's so sad. I don't think she's gonna do very well. So now I'm gonna head back to the emergency room to do more admissions, and I should have taken the elevator. Okay, so it's 7:30 now, almost 8 p.m., and the night intern's gonna be coming in soon, so we need to take a break from admissions and go meet up with Paul. Ivy went to go write her notes, while Eva and I will go to the library and meet up with Paul for sign out.
So this is 45-year-old female, has a lot of cancer, ovarian cancer, very sad, and then because of it has malignant SBO, has ESBL, UTI, maybe chronic prostatitis, is on ertapenem. She's also 23, has AIDS as well, uncontrolled, has seizures and cryptococcal meningitis. So
all right, Eva and Ivy just went home, or actually everybody's gone home by now. So it's just me and Paul left in the hospital, holding down the fort. We're gonna try to do some more admissions, hopefully finish up early so that we can lie down and get some sleep.
He is an incidental finding, 6+ centimeter aortic aneurysm. Vascular's on board. They're going to admit him, get him a workup, what's going on. In the meantime, he's got pneumonia, also getting some antibiotics.
Well, we gotta go.
All right, that's a code.
Duty calls.
So you're selling these Girl Scout cookies and you take Venmo.
Yes. We got the do-si-dos, kind of boring. We got the crispy cookies layered with peanut butter, covered with a chocolatey coating. The classic. This is what everyone should have in their cupboard. That's what we're going with. Come on, man.
You kind of stop what you're doing or not?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I mean, no.
Code rapid response, station 31. Code rapid response, station 31. Code rapid response, station 31.
80-year-old female who's coming in from nursing home. That her potassium came back at 6.6.
Kobe. I got one from Chelsea.
Oh. Again?
Yeah.
Hypotension or what?
It's probably the hypotension guy. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm fine. Our guy, though, his blood pressure is still a little elevated.
I'll go ahead and put in the order. 650?
Okay.
All right, you got it.
Thanks.
Of course.
Bye.
So we just got back from the code, and it was pretty rough. Actually, where's Paul? We gotta get Paul in on this too. We just got back from this code, and the nurses called it because the patient's blood pressure was dropping, and his heart was racing, and so we got to the code, and we were able to stabilize the patient and transfer him to the ICU. But it was just a really sad. That better not be another code.
Please, God.
Jeez.
Code STEMI.
Okay.
Code STEMI.
That's a code STEMI, which means someone in the hospital is having a heart attack.
It's not our problem.
Yeah. It's like
Code STEMI. Code STEMI.
Like information.
telephone.
Code
Yeah.
STEMI.
You know, where like
The more things can go wrong. What is interesting about codes is the balance in which you have to approach them. You want to give the patient what they would have wanted, which can be tough because oftentimes what will happen is that the patient will want very little done for him or her, but the family at bedside will have a hard time accepting that reality. But sometimes what happens is the patient has never said what they wanted. Then the situation becomes the family, seeing their loved one in so much distress, defaults to doing everything possible for that patient. The problem with this is that it can prolong the suffering of someone on their way out. So as physicians, we have to advocate ultimately for the least amount of suffering for that patient.
All right, so it's a little past midnight now, and we've been pretty busy. I admitted 2 patients with the med student, and then I admitted 3 patients each with the day and the night intern. I'm supposed to admit 8 patients during the call cycle, and that's what we call our cap. But if bounce backs come in, then I'm supposed to admit 2 more on top of that. Pray that doesn't happen. But right now, I think I have a little bit of downtime. I think I'm gonna lie down and just take a quick nap, because I am pretty tired. So it is now, man, I'm so tired right now. I don't even have the motivation to pull out the camera. So it is now 2 in the morning, 2:30, 2:37, almost 3 o'clock in the morning. And I just got called for another admission. It's a bounce back. A bounce back is when a patient who you have just discharged from the hospital comes back to you within the same month. And it begs the question, could we have done something different to prevent the patient from coming back? Or could we have done something different to follow up with the patient outside the hospital? So in this case, it's a patient with alcoholic pancreatitis. He drank so much alcohol to the point where he burned through his pancreas. So we'll go see the patient, see what's up, and then if he's sick enough, then he might need to get readmitted to the hospital. So let's go.
Oh, man, that took a lot longer than I expected, but the patient ended up being pretty sick, so I made him to the hospital, started some fluids, started some pain medicine, and hopefully he feels better. I'll be seeing him tomorrow morning, but right now we're back in my call room, back in this cozy bed, and we'll try to get some sleep.
Code Rapid Response Station 45. Code Rapid Response Station 45. Code Rapid Response.
All right, it's 6:30 a.m. I got a little bit of sleep, but it was mostly broken sleep. Just got a bunch of pages. So now I gotta go check all my patients' charts, make sure that they were all stable overnight, and then we're gonna be rounding with our attending starting at 8. So there's a lot to do. I totally forgot to brush my teeth last night too. I think I'm gonna do that right now, and then then grab some coffee.
So for today, I'm the attending for this team. Mike was just on his 24-hour call, and we're about to start post-call rounds. So we have our senior resident, Mike. We also had our overnight float intern, Paul. We also have Mike's intern, Eva, and finally a med student, Ivy.
So I guess Paul's done with the night shift now, and he just cashed out. Look at this. What'd you get?
I got some hibiscus tea. It's good for your vision, your hearing, and clears out congestion from the nose. I made that up, but it might be true.
All right, so we just finished post-call rounds. It's about 11:30 right now, and the rest of my team is gonna go to noon conference. I think they're gonna learn about bioethics today. But as for me, I am not gonna go to conference because I am so tired. I'm gonna go to the cafeteria, grab some lunch, and after that, go home and food coma for about 2 to 3 hours. I feel like I got a lot done, took care of patients, learned a lot, and definitely felt like I worked hard. And so it's crazy to think that doctors back then worked even harder than we do today. So some things you just take for granted. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, especially if you made it all the way to the end of this video. We had a lot of fun with this project, and it was really a collective effort. I think every single one of my co-residents made an appearance somewhere in the video, so shout out to them. They're a great bunch of doctors. I miss you guys already. But yeah, I hope we were able to give you some insight into what life can be like in residency here in the US.
But if you're an IMG or a doctor outside of the US and you're interested in working here in the States, then we'd recommend our partners over at Liberty Medics. They're a friendly group of doctors who specialize in helping international doctors make the long and arduous journey of applying and moving to the US.
If you are a US medical student hoping to match into a competitive residency, then we'd love to recommend our partners over at Med School Insiders. They're physician mentors trained at top residency programs, and they're ready to help you achieve your goals. We'll leave links to both of these amazing groups in the description below.
Alright guys, give the video a like, leave any questions in the comments below, and again, thank you so much for joining us.
See you next time.